All right, so a few nights ago we watched Shell and completely forgot to review it, but that's what happens when you're watching and reviewing like 15 films a day. You just okay. I watch and review a lot of movies, but we watch and review
We
a
watch a
lot of
lot too.
movies together at least.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, we're probably doing 15 a week together
It
at
depends.
least right now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. So, Shell. This one stars Elizabeth Moss as well as Kate Hudson, which is actually kind of funny to me because this has to do with beauty, and their names together would be Kate Moss. I don't know why I found that funny in the moment, but I just did. All right.
Oh.
The model. Anyway.
Yeah, I was like, I thought it was a pun for
Well,
a second.
when I was thinking about who was in the movie, I called them Kate Moss in my head for a second.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, well, this movie is about beauty. So yeah, the director of this directed a movie called Teen Spirit with Elle Fanning. That's the only other thing he'd done, but mostly he is an actor, and we know him from Spiral, from the Book of Saw and such, but he also is one of the main actors in The Handmaid's Tale alongside of Elizabeth Moss. Cool. And the writer of this, actually, that you would like to know the information of, is the writer of The Passenger.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is about an aging actress played by Elizabeth Moss, and of course, you know, she is starting to age out of all these different potential projects. And there is a company that a lot of the stars use called Shell that's ran by Kate Hudson's character. And they essentially give you a treatment and you stay young or how you are, or maybe even younger, seemingly forever. Of course, she doesn't want to do this, but she is forced into doing it for her career. And when you know it, there's some side effects.
Of course.
There always has to be side effects. So I think, yeah, I mean, of course this one's going to immediately get compared to The Substance, which I understand the desire to compare this to The Substance because that's one of the most recent films that covers this topic, and it was super popular, and this came out 1 year later.
Yeah.
But this is not a new concept. People chasing beauty and, you know, going to extraordinary lengths to stay young is a tale as old as time. I mean, this is a story that's been told 1,000 different ways. So I understand wanting to compare it to The Substance, but it's a pretty different movie.
Yeah.
It's from
different.
The Substance. I just know that a lot of people will want to do that. But sure. I get it, but it's there's so many other.
There are comparisons to be made mostly because of like the subject matter and like anytime you're dealing with women's beauty standards, there's some kind of basic not even metaphors, but like ways that it's approached, like whether it's criticism of the beauty industry and the products that are pushed on women, and then it's like the product is evil or whatever, that type of thing I think is mostly where the comparisons are like valid.
Yeah,
but it is a different film.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cool to see Elizabeth Berkley in the opening of this movie. I don't know when the last time I saw her was, but I just remember her kind of ruining her career with the movie Showgirls back in the day. Obviously, I grew up with her in Saved by the Bell, but it was good to see her in this. Not very much though. Literally just the cold open of the movie. Yeah, I mean, I think I want to hear your thoughts on this before mine for sure.
I liked it. I think that it is. You know, I'm always kind of an easy sell, I guess, for these type of movies. They sort of make me, I don't want to say triggered, but that is kind of the effect that they have. Like, I get really upset because although things are maybe played to be a little bit exaggerated as far as like how women are treated in terms of their appearance, it's not that much exaggerated. It can actually be very realistic, I feel like, in the approach and that kind of stuff. It just makes me mad, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but in a good way. Like, I like that films like this exist, because I think more and more, especially recently, these types of movies really are shining a light on these just kind of ridiculous expectations that women have imposed on them for how they're supposed to look. You know, the like annoying, ridiculous expectation that a 65-year-old woman should still look like a 20-year-old, and just how women really aren't allowed to age naturally. Anyway, that being said, I think the performances from everybody in this are really good. I like the metaphors that are used, and I guess my only thing is that we looked at the genre listings on IMDb, and it is listed as like a horror comedy, right?
Maybe.
Or I feel like you told me that, because I thought we were both kind
Body
of
horror, comedy horror,
yeah.
thriller.
So there's a soundtrack in this.
Yeah.
There definitely are some kind of funny like reactions that people have, but I don't know. I wasn't getting the comedy vibes at all. But there is a soundtrack that plays like it's like a comedy soundtrack. Which is kind of interesting, because I feel like if you took that away, I feel like it would be a lot more like horror, which is fine if the intention is obviously there to make it kind of a horror comedy. Like, that's fine. But most of, I don't know, the comedy part was for me mostly just in that the music felt so out of place for some of the situations, I guess, like chase sequences and stuff when people are like, there's some tension, and then it's like you have this really kind of wacky music playing that made it just kind of odd, I guess. And I think the ending of this is very memorable and very unique and quite fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty common complaint. I shouldn't say common, but this is a complaint I have infrequently on the channel, and I bring this up here and there, is like an identity crisis. This movie, I'm not sure it knows exactly what it wants to be. There is a very like serious tone to the movie throughout, but it also kind of plays like satire, especially towards the end, and the soundtrack doesn't help it in that department. I feel like you have very serious sequences with a very silly soundtrack behind it, which makes the tone so uneven and confusing, and I'm like, am I supposed to be taking this seriously or not? Because the actors are taking this very seriously, but the effects around them seem not to be. And that makes me go, where am I supposed to be with this movie right now? I don't know exactly. Yeah, I mean, the ending it definitely ramps itself up. And that's where it almost just becomes straight, like, dark comedy satire for me. And the rest of the film was hinting towards that with the music and whatnot, that we would maybe build to something like that. But we're dealing with very, like, sensitive topics that are being explored in a very serious way. But also, there's this, like, underlying black humor motif going on, and it's like, this is odd. I don't know exactly how to feel about this movie. But that being said, I liked it overall, and I definitely liked that the ending went pretty ridiculous. And yeah.
To be fair, I think that also, like, the dark comedy ending, like that, you know, without any spoilers, is also very similar to The Substance. Like, The Substance has a really ridiculous ending that kind of made her, like, you know, made it or breaks it for like a lot of people. And I think that it's similar, where it's like there's this level of just like humor and like poking fun that almost feels like it needs to be included in this type of film, because otherwise, I mean, there's definitely like serious films that deal with like women's appearance and such, but it kind of, I don't know, there's an edge of humor that feels like it softens it a little bit sometimes.
Sure, but The Substance, of course, really commits to its ending.
Yes, it does.
Right? It goes hard and wild, and I never felt like the substance ever lost sight of its tone.
Yeah, I agree.
The tone in the substance is always even. It's just escalating. As to with this one, it feels like it has kind of an identity crisis and then maybe figures itself out towards the end. And it's like, this is probably what it should have been the whole time, or not. And maybe some of that was because of the ending. Because the ending is going to be seen as pretty much silliness. It's satirical. And probably, I guess this will maybe come off as a bit of a spoiler, so, cut it off here if that's not what you want to hear. But I guess this movie has the ending that the Colin Farrell Yorgos Lanthimos movie, The Lobster, should have had.
It's a very memorable ending, as I said.
Yeah, it's on Paramount Plus right now for it's on that service if you're a member. If you're a fan of the impossible beauty standards, kind of holding a mirror up to Hollywood and showing it how ridiculous it is with expecting way too much from people who should just be aging like normal people.
Yeah.
But, once again, though, just really quick on this topic, we put a lot of blame in society on easy targets, right? There's the producers are the ones that are the problem. Okay, they are part of the problem, sure. But people vote with their dollar, and people voice their opinions very loudly online. And when they cast somebody who doesn't have the beauty standard that they want, a la Bella Ramsey in The Last of Us, or
they,
whatever,
freak out.
They flip the fuck out, right? So, is it the producers, or are the producers just wise to what the audiences want, right? So there is part of that. They also could just make movies that accommodate an actress who just looks like a normal fucking person, right?
Well,
but
so one of
people don't go to those movies, right? So that's tough.
Part of that is, so again, maybe a small spoiler in this. What's funny is that, so it's like, okay, just give actors and actresses roles that match their age. That's really the big thing, right? There's a part in this where she's auditioning for a movie for a character that is
a single
mother of two in her 40s, and instead they want to give it to this 22-year-old, right? And so it's that kind of thing where it's there's plenty of roles out there, and there are plenty of characters waiting to be written that are of varying ages. And we're always big proponents of, whenever you see a film that especially horror movies, because this is rare in horror movies, where the protagonists are older people, not teenagers or young adults, but actually people in their 50s and up. That is such a breath of fresh air, and it's so great, because I think that we've kind of talked about this in other reviews and throughout the channel, and we talk about it privately as well, but our society really does just idolize the youth, and being young is great, and it's wonderful that there's content out there and media for young people to relate to. But the fact is that we're all going to get old, so it is important to also have characters and stories that are centered around those different ages. You don't just die when you turn 30 or when you turn 40, So, I think you're right. I think it's not just Hollywood's fault. It's definitely, everybody, a collective problem. But, yeah.
But guys also don't deal with this problem as much.
Not nearly as
much.
Right? There's plenty of male roles.
Tom Cruise is still headlining big blockbusters in the 60s.
Yeah, there's plenty of male roles that feel like they're for older guys, or whatever. The problem with that, or what we always laugh at, is you have a dude in his 60s and his love interest is 25, and you're just why can't they cast age appropriate? Even a 10-year difference, 15-year, I don't know, but It's just when it's like they're in their 20s and they're at like 60 that
Yeah.
you're like, come on.
Right. Anyway.
That's just a fantasy.
So, Shell. Yeah, it's not a hard recommendation or anything. I think that a lot of people will not like it, to be completely honest. So it's a very soft recommendation for people who are interested in this topic and seeing films made on this subject in particular. But that's it. I think mostly this will be panned and seen. One thing was cool here, really quick though, was they had a decent amount of technology, like because this is set in the future. I don't know when this is supposed to be exactly, but they had like taxis that were self-driving,
Very
and they had all
cool.
these like three-wheeled cars that were driving on the roads next to them.
They had this,
And
like,
she had this
weird
cool like
watch.
snap
Yeah.
watch bracelet that turned into a phone.
Which is so
Which is
funny
cool.
because it wasn't like a smartphone. Like, I mean, maybe it was, but like it looked like a smart watch with a really small screen, you know, like where you
Yeah.
wouldn't really be like scrolling on
Yeah.
it, and it just sort of like you could text and
It was
then
a
like
snap
talk on the phone.
bracelet that you could
Yeah.
open up and turn into a phone.
It's interesting.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
I liked seeing that stuff. It definitely had a budget. I mean, I think if you're a fan of the substance, if you, as you said, like these type of movies, like I would recommend it. I thought the acting was really good from everybody, and as I said, it has a budget and a good look to it, and I think the ending is fun. So it's just the tone that was kind of all over the place, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll
That's
watch
about
anything
it.
with Elizabeth Moss in it. So
She's fantastic. She's always a solid choice, I think.
yeah.
So,
And,
anything else, my love?
No. Who was the guy at the table again? The detective guy. We were like, oh, it's the
Oh,
dude.
I don't
from
know
the
his
Bear.
name, but he's from The Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pastry chef
Yeah,
from the Bear.
that was cool to see him
Made a
in
short,
this.
little, small
Yeah,
role in
Yeah.
this. I was like, hey,
you know,
I don't think I've ever seen you in anything else.
Get back in the kitchen. Don't you got something to make?
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.